This one was a hard one, y'all. It was up and down, and there were tears and the whole. This was a lot. This was a lot.
And I'm like, come on through, Corky. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for season 4, episode 7 of Queen Sugar. And like I said, this one, there was a lot of moving parts and a lot of up and down. I went through a lot of range of emotions on this one. You know, child. Ava did her thing. Where to start? Okay, let's just go with Nova. Very first thing we see is Nova is sideswiped by the legal proceedings that Charlie has taken against the book. So that was the first thing. She was showing up to a booking. She's going to be on a little television show. And she got just blindsided by all the legal stuff, and then they wanted to talk about it, and she literally refused to allow them to use it for the interview. I said, okay, so this is going to be interesting. And then the next thing, you know, they go and they're doing, and this was interesting, because I was like, I felt kind of, it was weird. Like I said, it was a range of emotions, because it was like that's what you get. Good, Nova, good, did that happen? So now the family, you know, has some recourse with what you've done, but at the same time, I feel bad for her, because it's like being attacked is one thing, but then being attacked by your own family is another, legally. You know, that's a whole emotion in itself. Then there was a happy moment where I got happy and I got nervous and anxious at the same time when they sprung on her that, oh no, you said you were the last of your mother's lineage. You know, you're it. You're the only girl, and that's it. And without you, that's it. You know, and they found her mother's first cousin. I said, oh, so I was like, that's a good thing. And Nova was really happy about it. But then when they said that the cousin and the mother used to be like sisters, I said, oh, shit. Ain't no telling. Because remember, the mother was a hot-ass mess. So ain't no telling what might be coming from her. And she's Madame, what is her name? Madame Louveau. I said, I can imagine she's probably real deep. Like, we probably get ready to go someplace with her. She's probably real deep. So I'm nervous and anxious as well to leap into that part of it. And then throughout Nova's little travels, maybe she's in Philadelphia. She ran into Calvin. Calvin looked good. I said, oh, I was wondering, because we talked about that in my comments. We had talked about it, a couple of us. We went back and forth about where's Calvin? What happens if Calvin shows up? Do you think Calvin's going to show back up? Baby Calvin showed back up, honey. In Philadelphia, he's divorced. He's read the book, so he knows what's going on. When he said, see, this was one of them. I said, oh, damn. When he said, it's not every day that a man okay. He said it's not, because I want to put this exactly how he said it. He said, it's not every day that the love of a man's life tells the world that he's the love of her life. I was like, oh, Calvin. And it was like, ugh. Child, how could that? Listen, panty dropper. Okay? And then she tried to play it off. I said, girl, we all know all that fucking you do, all that slutting around that you do, we all know. Like, we all know deep down from the beginning. People who have been watching from the beginning, we all know that Calvin is who Nova wanted. We knew that. We knew it wasn't none of them girls. We thought, we were hopeful that it was going to be the professor guy. We were like hopeful. We wanted him for her. But we all know, all of us day one folk, we all know that Calvin was what Nova wanted. And Nova was what Calvin wanted. We knew that. So I was like, oh, okay, here we go. All right. And that was like gut wrenching. And then it was like, okay, and he wants her, baby, and she still want him. And I was like, okay, come on, let's get down with it. So they ended up going out, and they hung out all day and had a little dinner and all of that. And they didn't have sex, thank God. They didn't have sex. So everything was so organic. They didn't have sex. Then they broke off and they were leaving each other, and they were like going to leave it alone. Like, I don't know, because, we just went good, really, really good. And then, baby, he came back. She was getting ready to she's supposed to catch the red eye. She's supposed to be running out of there leaving, baby. He caught her before she left. I said, oh, this is the thing that great love stories are made of, honey. He caught her, baby, and was like, look, I want to do it, honey. I want to do it, and I want to do it again. I said, come on with it. And she said, I want to do it too. I said, well, do it. So they going to give it a go. And I'm happy. It's going to cause a lot more drama with her. Now she got this white man, honey, but I don't care, child. Listen, I like what likes me, damn it. And I'm here for this. So at least something good in your life. You got a lot of shit going on, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on now. So that's what's going on with Nova. I was here for all of that. Yeah, I was here for that. So let's talk about what I'm not here for, okay? Being as though we're just talking. I'm not here for Darla. Darla goes to work. She is so divisive, and she just... She literally sets out to destroy everything and everyone in her path. I just can't with her. She goes to work, and every time I kind of feel bad for her, she do something to piss me off. She goes to work, and somebody done bought the book and turned the book to her chapter and turned it upside down and put it on her chair. I said, you shady asses. And then you see the four folks, and they over there Kiki and a cackling, honey, and she's like, good morning. And they were giving. I went on and walked away. Good morning, girl. And went about the business. So, of course, that triggers her, because everything triggers her. And I'm going to take that back to, the thing. And that's the thing. I really don't always want to drag her because of her drug addiction, because drug addictions are very hard. They're very hard. And I do have a heart. I do have a heart for those who are going through drug addictions. But I don't like that manipulative crackhead part of it. I don't. The struggle is real. When you're honest and you want to come back from it, I'm here for it. But all that old crackhead ass manipulating, I don't like it. And she gets into it a lot. So that's why you see me tearing and ripping and clawing at her. Because she at her core, that bitch is a crackhead. At her core. Darla. She's an old, manipulative, me, spoiled right and want my way, self-centered, crackhead bitch. At her core. Period. So, y'all know I'm getting ready to let her have it. So, she gets on that phone right away. She get ready to call Raw. Why are you calling Raw? Why do you keep dragging Raw into your bullshit? Raw has his own problems. Raw does not need Darla. I don't want Raw and Darla together. I don't. I really don't. I just... I don't want her nowhere near him. She is divisive and she is toxic. She really is. I don't want her around him. She comes in and she creates turmoil in his life, and then he gets all twisted up and then he be messing up. Now he got a good thing with the little bald head chick. We like the little bald head chick. That's who we want, the lawyer. We want the lawyer for Raw. We don't want crackhead Susie for Raw. Period. I'm talking about me. I don't want Darla. Get out of here, bitch. I don't want her. I don't want her. I want the little bald head girl. I like the little bald Joel's mom. I like Joel's mom. Period. But she's steady trying to call Raw. I'm so glad he wasn't able to answer the phone. Get out of here. He got his own stuff going on. And so she ends up contacting the new boyfriend. And now, truth be told, she only called him because she couldn't get Raw on the phone because she don't really like him. That's her problem. You don't really like what likes you. You want to kill and destroy whatever really likes you. And he listened to her and everything, and he saw what she was going through, and he said, I'm not being, like brushing off what you got going on, but these things happen. And I think that, I'm glad I spent time with you and everything like that. And he's a cute guy, and I don't want him around her either. I really don't, because we kind of then took a liking to him, so I don't want him around Darla either, because he's nice. He's a nice little guy. And he says, it's time you need to call your sponsor. I'm not weak. She's sitting over there crying. Bitch. When did you stop being weak? You are weak, bitch. You're weak. You are very much weak because everything triggers you, which states that you are weak, Darla. You are in that part of you. You're not there yet, boo. Everything about anything triggers you. If you break your fingernail, girl, you want to go lay up in the bed for 2 and 3 days, and the first thing you think about is getting high. Everything triggers you. You are weak. And there's no shame in saying that you're weak. You are. And I believe you were a weak person before you even became addicted to drugs. You give me weak teas. So, it just is what it is. He was telling you right. He needs to get the fuck away from you before you draw him in and ruin him. Because she could really screw up his sobriety with her toxicity. Don't nobody got time for it. He need to get away from her. He need run, bruh. Run from her. She ain't right. Run. Then she dismissed him, got a little attitude, and she dismissed him. And he should have been glad to go, because she ain't shit. They done literally sat and taught you all how to handle things and handle when you get triggered, but you don't want to do it that way. You want to do it your way, because you go toxic crackhead, and you like to draw other people into it and get it all popping. Anybody got time for her? Get the fuck out of her, Darla. I can't stand her. I hate her. I really do. I can't stand that little girl. Anyway, moving on. Charlie actually had this run-in with the black woman. She's the only black woman on city council, honey. And she basically told Charlie, listen, tell you something. I don't see us working with you at all on your campaign. I don't see us coming together with you. And she said, basically, I read your sister's book, and you don't, I ain't impressed with you, honey. I think she thinks Charlie's divisive, and she said, I see your duplicity, honey, and all of that. I ain't feeling it. Because one minute you were Landry, honey. You do what it is that works for you. And it does, Charlie does come across, we know better, but from an outsider looking in, that's the way it looks. And she was giving her the blues, baby. She basically blamed her as the reason that the damn highway was coming through in the first place, because of the little stuff. Because that's the way they that's the narrative that they actually tried to build, is that what she did about the jail is what brought the highway through. But that's not true at all. And we actually get all to that on this episode too, that wasn't it. All of it was really a diversion and a cover-up. But that Landry family, their family's going to be cursed with demons for a million years, honey. They are vicious. They are very vicious and backhanded. Anyway, so they had their little thing, and that was that. Now Vi, we see Vi here, Hollywood. He really gave her space. He done went to his mama's house. So he's not even in St. Joe. And here the daggone restaurant gets vandalized. So Vi's like, no, I'm not calling Hollywood. I'm not calling Hollywood. And through all of that, Charlie ends up saying, what's going on, Vi? You in Hollywood okay? And she ends up telling her, no, we're good, but it's me. The stuff with Jimmy Dale threw me into a tizzy. And my doctor basically thinks that I have PTSD due to all of that. And I just got to get myself together. And I'm going to handle this. And I'm worried about I'm not going to bother with Hollywood. Hollywood's good. I'm going to have it all together before we come back. So we got all that going on. Over at Ross, we sit up and we see they mess around. They're arrested. He comes to the farm one day and they're arresting Benny. Like, what the heck is going on? They done planted drugs on Benny. And, that was basically an attack on Raw. And Benny's little girlfriend came in. Joel's mom, she came in. They was like, this is not going to go down. She did what she had to do. She got Benny out of jail. And she told Benny, this was another one, honey. Told Benny, she's like, you haven't eaten. I need you to eat. I know you might not feel like talking and stuff. But I need you to eat and stuff. Because you haven't eaten, so I need you to eat. Then, Raw was giving him this whole speech. He's telling him about don't give up, man, don't give up. Keep on pushing, go push forward. Don't fall back. Don't worry about it. We're going to clear this up. And when Benny looked at Joel's mom and Raw and said, I'm not going to give up. I just don't know where I would be if it would have been, wouldn't be for you all. Baby, the tears just start flowing. I said, oh my gosh. That Benny, honey, he's a cutie. We like him too. He's something about him. He's a very good actor too. Because whenever he has his little scenes, he could drag you to tears too. His whole little struggle and his little thing, his cute little thing. You just want him to win too. I said, God darn it. He done turned out to be, you ever notice, like he's close to Raw's age, but he kind of seemed like a son to Raw. Sort of like Raw is starting to be like Mr. Prosper to Benny. Like Benny looks up to Raw the way they all look up to Mr. Prosper. Kinda. That's kind of the way I see it. Yeah. Or maybe Mr. Prosper might be too far. I'm gonna say sort of the way that what's the old boy that just left? Remy. The way that Remy used to look up to their dad, that's how Benny looks up to Raw. And that gets me right in the chest, honey. I said, oh my gosh. Okay, so anyway, so they got that all going on. And I was like, here we go again, honey. I was getting so tired, honey. I sit there wearing me out. So then we go, Vi and Charlie sit down with the neighbor of Vi, because Vi don't have cameras in her restaurant. But the neighbor had cameras and his stuff on the outside. So they were going through like the pictures and stuff. And they see that. Y'all remember Hank Miller, which was the guy that was Jacob's guy when Charlie was like, who is that? He kept hanging around. Found out that later on that Hank Miller was taking pictures of Vi's shop and all of that. Just hanging around taking pictures. Then he had been up to the church too. So the pastor up at is it St. Thomas? The pastor up there had, or is it St. Vincent? The pastor up where the Hispanics are, he said he recognized that Hank Miller and him hanging around, and he knew about this One World Energy Company or something that he was up there talking about. I said, okay. So then all of it started kind of coming together. Then we seen pictures of Joaquin. Joaquin is actually one of the workers who was being deported, his son. And what we found out was that Hank Miller had threatened Joaquin and gave Joaquin $500 and made him go do the vandalism on the shop. So the mothers, they were talking about it and everything like that. And this part made me cry too. When the mother was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then that's what said they was going to do the same thing to the mother that they did to the father and all of that. So that's why Joaquin did. He said, I didn't want to do it. Cute little boy. Said, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. And she says, are you going to turn him into the police? And Charlie told him, baby. And this is again why we love Charlie so much, honey. Charlie, Charlie loved the kids, honey. Charlie was like, baby. She said, see, someone else put the brick in Joaquin's hand. That's who I want. I said, come on through, Charlie. I love Charlie. I was like, come on, Charlie. So she went, next thing you know, we see Charlie sitting with old Jacob, honey. And Jacob, she went in there and schmoozed Jacob and gave him some of that wine and shook them titties in his face and in there twisting and turning around, baby. And that damn stupid ass Jacob went and told Charlie everything she wanted to know. And that's when we found out, baby, that they done found some damn oil or something, some natural energy up there around in St. Joe's Parish. And what they want to do, they're partnering up with this old world energy company. And that's what the road and all that mess is about. But what it basically would end up happening is that St. Joe's is going to end up being like a toxic, like it's not going to be livable anymore. It's just going to be a space where they're doing business, and it would be like a toxic ghost town. Basically, is what's going to happen. They're going to run the families out and use the land to do big business and trade and oil and natural gas and all of that stuff. It ain't going to be livable. It ain't going to be livable. It's going to be about money, and that's what Jacob told Charlie. This is not about black and white, Charlie. I promise you, it's not. You just got to pick a side. And he says we picked a side. Well, we know you all will pick a side because you all don't give a shit about nobody. Y'all don't give a shit about nobody. All you ever care about is money because that's y'all. Root of all evil. And you all, my dear, are evil. The Boudreaux and the Landrys are nothing but evil. And they're only about money. And they are literally evil. And ain't nothing good coming their way. Trust me. Ain't nothing good going to come their way. Because they're literally just going to run the families out and do what they're going to do to make some more money. So Charlie has showed up, gave him this envelope, and when he flipped it back and it said, thank you, stupid ass. And he went going to lean over there and threaten Charlie. I said, really, Jacob? And going to tell her, you do know I'm not just going to let you make a fool out of me. She said, you already did. Now get out. And he said he went on and he left one out of there. I said, I'm trying to be tough. So a little bit after that, we actually see Anvi, and Charlie brings Joaquin down to talk to Anvi. I said, oh, God. He had to talk to Anvi. She was saying, not about my pressing charges. She's like, just trust me, Anvi. No. You can't do it like that, Anvi. We got to figure something else out. So she's like, just talk to him. Just listen to what he has to say. And I was like, Anvi is going. I said, when she looks at him, baby, all she going to see is Micah, and she going to crumble, honey, like an old cookie, honey. And she ain't seen blue in a while. I said, she going to crumble. She ain't going to worry about that. Come on in there, Joaquin. He's cute. Come on in there. He's a little teenager. He's like 15 or something. I said, come on. That'll be all right. And sure enough, he came and he said, Miss Violet, I'm really sorry. What you saw, that's not me. I mean, it was me, but that's not who I am and how I am. And she said, just shut up. Just shut up. I said, look, she didn't even make it as far as I thought she would, because I was already crying. Violet didn't make it no further. She said, just shut up. I'll tell you how we're going to do this. We're going to do it old school. You're going to come up here and you're going to work it off. You're going to come up here 3 days a week and you're going to come up here on the weekends and you're going to work it off. You understand me? And he says, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay. So then they leave. She said, let's go. Come on. She don't want to hear no more about it because she didn't want to crack in front of him. She said, come on. So they come on out. And when she walked out of there, baby, I was done. And the waterfalls were falling for real then. Because when she came out, she's like, oh, my God, what is this? That part of the parish, all of the Hispanics, a big group of them had come down, and they came and they were restoring, the community was restoring her restaurant. And that whole thing, just that movement alone, started. That was it, child. That didn't broke. After that, she's like, oh my God. And that's what Charlie said, this is what we're about. This is what St. Joe's is about. Us all together, working together and merging together and making things happen positive things. And this is what we need to show people. It's time we show people what we're really all about. So after that, we end up seeing them going on the news. And at this point, Charlie done did her damn thing, baby. She got the pastor behind her and the black councilwoman behind her. They both on her side, and everything went well. And I was like, okay, so we happy for 2 minutes. And then they're like talking, her and Michael were sitting there talking, and the phones start ringing. Like, it was like 3 phones where she's like, wait, they're not even calling that phone. And when she's like, what's going on? She answers the phone, baby, we found out the damn mill is on fire. I said, Jacob Boudreaux, you bastard. So that's kind of where it cut. And, you know, I just felt like my whole heart just dropped down in my stomach at that point. I was like, oh my gosh. But I was so mad. I got mad right after that at that Jacob Boudreaux, you bastard. Anyway, I love this show. So we're just going to talk about this some more next week, y'all. Damn Boudreaux. Just evil.